What's up, guys? This is Matt from Dinking and Driving, and today we're talking about the Gherkin Draco. And let me just say, you want to buy this paddle. I know, that's a pretty aggressive statement to start off this review. And before I go too much further into that thought, I want to make sure you're aware I did receive this paddle for free. But besides that, I have no compensation from them. I'm not going to give you a discount code. There are discount codes though, so please go watch some of the reviewers, videos and reviews on this and get a discount code from someone that you want to support there, and you will get a discount on it as well. But I'm not one of those, so I am here just to tell you my actual thoughts on this with zero bias outside of having received a free paddle, which I receive a lot of, and I don't give them all positive reviews. This paddle deserves all of the positive reviews, and let's dive into it. Before I go into my actual experience with it, I do want to go through some of the numbers. I'm not usually a numbers guy, and that's because really you don't care too much about the technology and all of that. Like, you care about how the paddle plays and probably its durability and what it means for your game. But just to get this out of the way, it is a hybrid shape, which here, I'll hold it up for you so you can take a look at it. You can admire this thing. This is a hybrid shape. It is a very cool shape. I think that it's a good design. It looks very similar to some of the Honolulu designs with the way this top part kind of angles down just a little bit, but not too extreme. It is 16.25 inches long. It is 7.75 inches wide. The handle length is 5.63, which, isn't the longest handle out there by any means, but it's long enough to get a tui in. It's not bad. And then the weight, the static weight is 8 ounces, so not too heavy, not too light. And the swing weight is 112 with an average twist weight of 6.7. But let me tell you, this twist weight feels like a lot more than 6.7 in my opinion, because this is a very stable paddle, and that's probably due to some of the technology that is inside of it, which we will get into now as well. So according to my notes here, the notable specifications on this paddle is that it does have a new foam core material that no one else is using except for Gherkin. They are calling it their NCP, Nano Cellular Polymer. And so the differences here is that this Nano Cellular Polymer is a single beam of foam, whereas a lot of the others, the EPPs and the MPPs, are small micro beads of foam that are basically fused together. This is a single beam of foam, which will give it more structural rigidity, which will make it, I guess, theoretically return more energy and hit harder and be a little bit potentially stronger and have less weak points. So that's what they're saying. From what I've heard, though, all foam paddles are supposed to be relatively indestructible, but this is just the next level up. Whether that's marketing jargon or not, I'm not quite sure yet, because like I said, I've played over 20 hours with it, but that's not a lifetime. However, they're putting their money where their mouth is, and it does have a lifetime warranty. So I'm going to trust them on that for the time being. Until I see anything different, I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, you have a 30-day trial period and a lifetime warranty. There's nothing to lose with pre-ordering this paddle. Not to mention, if you pre-order the paddle, you also get their training paddle, the Gherkin G Spot 2, which can never seem to find it when I want to. It's around here somewhere. I'm sure I'll find it eventually, but they have a training paddle that uses the same technology. So it's got the foam core as well, which I have a couple of training paddles and none of them have a foam core like that, which I think is kind of cool. So, big shout out to Gherkin. I think that they're doing things right with this paddle and this launch. And again, in my opinion, you got nothing to lose. And let's talk a little bit more. So it is a 16 millimeter core thickness, which again, in foam is a little bit different than in traditional polypropylene cores in the way that it can respond. I don't know that the core thickness matters as much. I could be wrong there, but most of the cores that I'm playing with on the foam paddles are 16 millimeters anyway. And I think, I think people have found out that there's like negligible differences between the thicknesses in foam, because you can manipulate foam so much that that might mean less than it used to. And it has your traditional CFC layup. So this paddle, let me check the notes here a little bit more and see if there's anything else that I need to cover before we get too much further into this. No. Okay, last thing. Like I said, limited lifetime warranty, 30-day trial period, which is crazy, and then free shipping on top of that. And so the Draco MSRP is $179.99, so $180, which is insanely reasonable. And then again, if you use a discount code, $162. That's wild. This paddle plays better than the majority of paddles on the market, in my opinion. So the fact that you can get it for just a little bit over $150 puts it basically in a class of its own. It's high performance as well as high value. man, this is coming across way more salesy than I intended to. So now let's just talk about the paddle and talk about my experience with it. Number one, I do love the look of it. I think it's clean, right? Very simple. It's pretty. I have a pink over grip on it, which that doesn't mean anything, doesn't matter. That is the one thing I would say that I don't like as much is this handle is a little bit thicker than I would like. And the grip, the stock grip isn't anything special. But again, at the end of the day, that does not impact the playability or has not for me anyway. The shape is cool. It is insanely stable, which again, I've been hitting wide bodies mostly for the past probably 5 months now. And this is a hybrid. And I haven't put this thing down since I've got it. Like this is what's been in my bag all of January, and I don't see that changing. I would technically call it my main paddle right now because, again, I'm not using anything else. I'm trying out and testing other paddles, but when I'm going to play, like that's the paddle I'm grabbing. And one of the things that I would say and compare it to is I would say that it's very similar to a Loco, but with a little bit more dwell time and probably a little bit less top end power. And I'm not confident in that. It might have the same power or very similar power, but one thing I can say is I always get the comments with this paddle that my serves are going in more consistently than ever. And I'd gotten that comment with the Loco previously, and the Loco was a toned down power from the boomstick. And so I'm assuming that means this is a little bit less top end power, but not enough to be noticeable. Like my serves are still going in very, very hard and people are shocked by them. The other thing I will say is that there's a lot of grit on this face and I'm able to put a lot of really good spin. So I brought back some of my spin serves that I had retired previously. And so I'm doing a pretty good job right now of switching things up with, hitting a really hard power serve and then maybe a little bit of a change up that'll, spin off the side of the service court. And so I'm having a lot of fun with it. But besides that, like I said, it is a hybrid, but it's as stable as most wide bodies that I've been hitting with. And so that's why I was being drawn to the wide bodies. They felt like they had a bigger sweet spot. They were more stable and they would help me when I'm dinking or if I'm hitting a shot that's off center. And this feels just as capable as most of those wide bodies. On paper, the twist weight is a 6.7, I think is what I said. So close to a 7, which means it's less than the Loco and less than the boomstick. But in practice, it feels really, really close to those, like almost, I can't really tell the difference. And so does it feel like there's a lot of benefit over those wide bodies? No, but it doesn't feel like it's losing out on them. And so I have no problem grabbing this hybrid and playing it as if it was a wide body. I'm enjoying it a ton. I don't know if Gherkin's going to come out with other sizes and shapes. I'm assuming they will because I think that this is going to be a massive win for them. But right now I am very satisfied with this hybrid shape. It's playing insanely well. So we talked about power, it's dwelly, so it does have a good amount of dwell. I would not call this a stiff paddle. I would say that this paddle is somewhere between the Loco, which I consider a relatively stiff paddle, and the Duo, which I think has a little bit more dwell time than the Loco. I think this Gherkin Draco slips right in between there. And so I think that this, from a dwell standpoint, isn't too much. Sometimes I felt like the Loco, or not, excuse me, the Duo, sometimes I felt like that dwell would throw me off because it would hold onto the ball a little bit too long and then I would launch it. I'd send it a little bit too far. And this one doesn't do that. So I haven't had any real crazy mishits. I haven't had any issues that I can really think of in playability. And from a pop perspective, that's what's funny is because just like the Duo, it doesn't feel as stiff. So sometimes when you're playing, at the kitchen, you feel like the face feels softer almost, but it's not. Like it still has a good amount of pop. So I haven't had any issues with hitting the ball into the net. Has a really good touch because of that dwell, because of that nice, like it just pockets it so well. And I know that these terms and words don't always mean anything, mean the same thing to people, but let me put it this way. It feels like a initial cradling of that ball, but then it still pushes it really hard. Like it still extends out the energy in a way that allows the ball to feel poppy. So it's not soft like when you're at the kitchen and you kind of barely tap the ball, it's going to go to the net. No, it's still going to go over the net, but you're going to feel where you want to put the ball a little bit more because there is a little bit more dwell time. That's a really weird explanation, but I think you get what I'm saying. Anyways, long story short, this thing is a joy to play with. I would put it up there with the Loco in relation to how it plays in totality with just a little bit more dwell time. So if you don't like dwell time, which there are people out there that don't, this might not be your choice over a Loco. But if you're someone that's like, hey, I love to have a little bit of dwell time, I like that feel. Maybe you're coming from a tennis background. I think that this is a freaking home run of a paddle for you. Not to mention, like I said, 30-day free trial, lifetime warranty. Like, what the heck do you have to lose? And the answer is nothing. So I would say that if Gherkin is planning on coming out with more paddles like this, with this quality and this level of playability, they are going to be a force to reckon with in 2026 and beyond. I'm super excited about it. This caught me off guard, to be quite frank. And I think that they deserve all of the praises that they're getting. They also sent me this really cool hat. It says just Gherkit. So I think they're leaning in real hard, obviously, to some of the innuendo behind the Gherkin name. Love the hat. Can't wear it to church, but it's still very funny, and I will be wearing it on the court. And like I said, they gave me the trainer, the G-Spot trainer. Found it. Here you are. Here. So here's their training paddle. You get this for free if you pre-order it. So I knew I'd find it someday. Again, what a deal. You're getting this incredible paddle, a training paddle, free shipping, and discount code. I mean, you're getting down for $162. You can't beat that deal right now. That's probably the best deal in pickleball, in my opinion, with the trial period and lifetime warranty. Like, you can't go wrong with that. So if you don't at least go test this out for 30 days, you're an idiot. So that's my review, guys. There it is. This is my first real paddle review, I think, of 2026, and I'm going to be changing things up a lot more moving forward, but this is a fun paddle. I'm excited to have some more fun content with you guys, and hopefully enjoy this. If there's something that I missed that you want or have questions around or you want more information on, feel free to drop a comment below. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to be that guy in 2026 that encourages you to do that. And yeah, we'll hopefully be creating a lot more fun content as well as educational and informational content. So thanks for watching and listening.